This is Juliet warming up with some groundwork this morning. Just doing a bit of backing here. When I want her to move, I just point my hand up in the air, whichever direction it is that I want her to go, and she's going to send off that way. You'll see us do some change of direction. If I step in front of the drive line, if I step in front of her girth area towards her neck, she's going to turn in towards me and roll back and go the other direction. And again, when I want her to go up a transition, I just point up in the air. There, I yielded hindquarters to get her to stop. She knows to always stop and face me, give me two eyes and not two heels. So again here, when I point up in the air and I ask for the next transition, if she doesn't transition, then I would cluck to her, and then I use the whip there at the very end, or the stick and string is the last thing. So it's point, cluck, and then I would use the stick and string on the ground to get her to go forward. And there was a little change of direction at the canter. And now I'm going to start winding her in. I'm going to start shortening the rope and bringing the circle very close to me. And I'm going to set the stick and string up on her withers. And right there she stopped. So she got a bit confused there and thought that it was the throw to a stop exercise, which we practice a lot with different objects. But essentially, if Juliet is in motion and I toss something at her, she knows to stop and think about it as opposed to react and run away. So here, this is called circle driving. And I have her here on a very small circle with the stick resting there at her withers. And when I want to change direction, I'll just turn and look at her hip and yield her hindquarters. And then I bring her front end through. And we go back to our small circle this direction. Doing this circle driving really helps get them even softer on the halter, and you can start to get a lot more bend and softness through their ribs. And it also just, again, heightens the awareness of her to me. It's easier to keep her engaged with me, keep her neck bending, keep her ribs bending. And you'll see her, she'll go to stiffen up and look out of the circle. And I just half halt on that rope, and I can tap her away on the neck with the stick if needed and ask her to bend more through the ribs. And we practice this every day. Juliet's a big, long, tall horse, so getting all of these body parts supple is something that we practice every day on the line before we start riding. And then, of course, we practice it in the saddle as well. Here we are yielding the forequarters, so just moving the shoulders around the hind end here. I practice this a lot with all of them, but especially with big pushy horses that are likely to get a little too close to you or want to push into you with their shoulders while leading or anything like that. And then we went into a yield the hindquarters, then I stopped, changed sides, and now we're yielding forequarters this direction. Juliet's gotten very good at this and very, very light. She's a very good student. I'm going to send her over just to this side of the round pen, yield the hindquarters, yield the forequarters again. And I do a lot of just moving these horses around in their warm-up. I'm going to pull on the halter and send them forward off of halter pressure. We just may go a few steps like that. And then I might yield the forequarters into a backup or yield the hindquarters into a backup. I just mix it up. I make it sort of like a dance. And we just tinker with this every day, and you'd be amazed at how light these horses get and how good they get at it. And of course, all of our desensitizing. I throw the string over her back, neck, around her legs. We go back and forth around her head. Helicopter motion, kind of at an angle here, coming past her eye, over her ears. It makes a sound like a helicopter, and that can be startling for a lot of horses. Here, obviously, as you can see, I can go all the way around her, spanking the ground with the stick and string. And these are things that we just review every day so that we don't forget. We remember to think and not be reactive. And I sort of switch up these exercises. Sometimes I do it with the stick and string. Sometimes I do it with noodles or feed bags or, all sorts of different things. So, the point being that they know to stand there and rest while I play all around them and make noise and throw things, and that it's all about resting and relaxing. Now I've taken her lead rope off, and I'm just going to send her out in the round pen. Again, she knows not to move until I point, to go the direction that I pointed her to. You can see when she's moving, I hold the stick in a very neutral, relaxed position. I don't hustle her with it. I don't nag her with it. She knows to keep moving unless I ask her to do something different. Here we're going to change direction. She's going to come in towards me. I point the other way. Now there, ideally, I don't love that she cut the round pin in half like that, but she did turn and face me. And when I pointed, she did move away. But ideally, I would have liked a little bit better of a roll back there. This filly really keeps an eye on me. She's really sharp at this kind of thing. Very smart, has become very willing. She knows what to do and when to do it. I think she enjoys working with me. I know I enjoy working with her. And this is how we start our day every day, to get our brain working, her in tune to me. We just do some of these different movements. There, I yielded her hindquarters. And as you can see, she will really do a good stop coming here to me. And this is how we get ready to ride every day. I know her brain is thinking, and she's ready to start under saddle.